Well, a lot of what that Grinnell does is it helps you think outside the box. That problems, creative problem solving, and the ability to take on a problem and solve it, work your way through it, is something Grinnell will definitely help you with, and small liberal arts colleges in general will force you to do. You get a lot more one time with faculty. You get research opportunities. You get the ability to do projects outside school, partnering with professors and faculty. And so just this can-do attitude, and I think the much lauded liberal arts way of thinking is definitely something that helps you long term. You might not be a subject matter expert, but you can become a subject matter expert given the opportunity.
And so, of course, most liberal arts colleges are kind of questioned because they might not offer many pre-professional tracks, and business analytics being one of them. But do you think that was true in case of Grinnell as well? Like you have limited, say, courses, say in finance and economics, or in quantitative math, which could be applied in business or operations research and so on and so forth.
I think the curriculum definitely skews towards academia and not pre-professional classes. I know that's growing, but it's not quite there yet, specifically at Grinnell. If you're interested in academia, it's the perfect school to go to because it really sets you up well to make that jump into a PhD program of your choice. But I think from a pre-professional standpoint, there will be some challenges. Grinnell doesn't claim to be a school that I think targets those pre-professional kinds of students. They're looking for more rigorous academic thinking and research. But on the flip side, what I found is even without that pre-professional coursework, a lot of students, especially who study in the quantitative fields, end up doing really well and finding good jobs. Just because of that, I think Grinnell's recognized for their academic rigor. And so when you get through a program like a math program or a science program at Grinnell, employers do look favorably at that. And you have a small, well-connected network of alumni who are willing to talk to you. So what we do lack in pre-professional coursework, you really do make up in academic rigor and the alumni network, and just the fact that Grinnell's pretty well known in the Midwest.
Fantastic. And so if you were to look at how your career trajectory sort of moved forward, and then pursuing the grad school at a very different school. So we'd love to know more about College of William and Mary. And then how do you compare it with your undergrad experience as well? I know that grad school and undergrad are two different things, but of course, in terms of setting, the student body, the number of people around campus, connections to maybe larger cities nearby. So how was it like to be at College of William and Mary for your grad school, and what did you actually study?
So it was very different. Take a step back. I studied a master's in business analytics at the College of William and Mary. It's a one-year program through their business school. I applied 3 years after I graduated from undergrad. So I graduated in 2014, worked for 3 years, and I did my master's. The idea for me switching tracks was, hey, I'm doing some applied maths, some applied econ. I really need that extra zing in the resume that can make me switch full-time into the data science field. And so that's why I did the business analytics master's. And I thought William and Mary really helped that way. It was a very different feel from Grinnell. Just straight away, and that could be because it's a business school program, but straight away, everything's focused on you getting a job. Like when your resume is polished, you have career fairs week 1 and week 2 of your program. You're constantly networking with alum. You're constantly networking with different companies who are coming in for meet and greets and interview days. So it's a very different experience. And even going in undergrad, I know you're also building your social life. You're meeting new people from different countries. You make friends. You're going to be going through this experience together for 4 years. So there's that personal aspect of things. I think grad school, that's lacking, and that might be lacking in the shorter term programs. It's almost transactional where you're going here for a year to 10 months. You want a job on the other side. So everyone's hyper-focused on their work and their job search. And there isn't as much of a cohort feeling to it, was my experience. You get to interact with people a lot more professionally and interact with them almost as if you're in some kind of networking event that's a year long. But on the flip side, what you do find in these master's programs is a lot of the students coming in are super hardworking and have achieved a decent amount in their years between college and master's program. So it's hyper competitive, and that kind of pushes you a little bit too. So overall, a very different experience.
But if you look at, I know you were a master's student and it's pre-professional, but were you able to also make observations on the undergrad program at College of William and Mary, not as a student, but vicariously through stories that you hear?
It was a little difficult at William and Mary specifically because all the undergrads live on campus, and then the graduate students live on campus, but the graduate dorm is just separated out into a different corner. So you very rarely interact with the undergrads. But in terms of the opportunities that I saw, all the companies coming in, the big networking events, the socializing the different companies and trips out to the big cities to meet companies in person, that carries for both undergrad and master's students. So you have those opportunities at William and Mary, which you might not necessarily have in Grinnell. And also being on the East Coast, that proximity to DC, New York, Boston, Philadelphia helps a lot because all of these companies are more than happy to send representatives down for meet and greet sessions and recruiting events and such.
Okay, let's spend some time to learn from you about the field of business analytics. What does it really mean? What do you study, and what do you really apply in real life in a financial?
Yeah, sure thing. So you can think of business analytics almost as a salesy kind of name. Really, what you're learning is data science. So it's a lot of programming in Python, R, which are the most marketable tools out there right now. Your upper level stats classes, if you're a math major, they'll put a slightly flat name on it, call it machine learning. And you'll do a lot more around data management, data infrastructure systems, and things like that. So really, it's a jack of all trades kind of degree because it's a one-year program. You'll get a little bit of exposure to all of these fields. And then the idea is you find an industry that is of interest to you and you get deep in that. So for example, my first job out of college after my master's program was at a mortgage-backed security firm. This firm was building, and my role in the firm was a team of 3 people who were building a program that companies could use to standardize and analyze their mortgage data. So the idea being, we built a program in Python where anyone can submit just an Excel file, name it whatever, and we can figure out what their Excel file looked like compared to the same Excel file in another company and benchmark that across, large data sets that the government puts out, etc. So it's a lot of work with data, programming, using machine learning models to not necessarily always do flashy things, but do things like understand what a data set is without looking at it, or understand how you can make a process repeatable and automated so that you're saving time for a company. So that's one aspect of it from a data pure perspective. My second role was Capital One, where I worked at it from a more traditional BA role. And what you're doing there is you're at this bank which has billions upon billions of gigs of data, and you have to try and figure out and manage different portfolios, make sure that the bottom line is doing well. So as an analyst, you're responsible for that bottom line. So right now my role is in fraud, and so a lot of the work I do is monitor fraud rings, fraud attempts that are coming into the market that are impacting the company, and try and mitigate that, put strategies in place that ensure that fraudsters aren't able to continue making attacks the way they do, and also prevent any future attacks that they might come up with. So it's almost a whack-a-mole game where fraudsters will do something, we'll react, they'll do something else, we'll react, but that just goes on forever. But the business analytics comes in terms of being able to look at the data, identify what's going on, identify patterns, and then be able to make decisions.